This special need child has always impressed me with their sufferings, not only in themselves, but also for their parents. And this has been the subject of several conversations with the Spirit Emmanuel, who is the spiritual guide of our works. So he says that, as a general rule, the special need child is the reincarnation of a suicide. In other words, reincarnated after a recent suicide. Because when the person thinks that they destroy themselves, they are only spoiling or losing the clothing which the divine providence allows them to use during the existence, which is the physical body. The truth is that the person itself is a spiritual body. Then the suicide residuals will follow the person who has practiced self-destruction to the afterlife. There, they will remain for some time, supported by friends, because every person has loved ones everywhere. But when they return to earth, they bring reminiscences that themselves have taken from here after the suicide. If a person has smashed the skull, and if a bullet has hit the center of speech, they will reincarnate speech impaired. If it has only reached the center of vision, they reincarnate blind. But if it has hit a more complex region of the brain, they will come in a complete insanity. And the physiological centers do not work. Endocrinology would have to do a special chapter to study a deaf, mute, blind, handicapped child because of the nature of how the person has wounded their life in the sanctuary of life, which is the most delicate part of the brain. If the person committed suicide by diving into deep water, they will reincarnate with a predisposition for emphysema in their childhood or teenage years, or on their early days of life. If a person, for example, hanged themselves, they will reincarnate with paraplegia after a simple fall that every child falls from the lap of the nurse, from the lap of their mother. Then, when the process is from hanging, their vertebra that has been displaced in the hanging comes weaker, and in a simple fall, the child is affected by paraplegia. We have seen out there children who reincarnate completely disturbed. Schizophrenia, for example, is said to be suicide after homicide. The guilt complex has taken such a great imbalance that the brain chemistry changes and the schizophrenia comes as a verifiable disease because through the fluids expelled by the body, it is possible to detect the principles of schizophrenia. Schizophrenia cases means the homicidal person who has committed suicide because the guilt complex is so great, the remorse is so terrible, that it is reflected in the creature's own physical life for some time or a long time.